I've rehearsed this story 1,000 times in my head. Every word, every pause, every breath. But whenever I try to say it out loud, my throat tightens like something is listening, like the air itself is waiting for me to make a mistake. It's not that I don't remember. I remember too well. I remember the smell of metal and old fabric, the faint flicker of fluorescent lights overhead, the way the train windows reflected my face back at me like a stranger I didn't fully recognize. And most of all, I remember the sound, the steady rhythm of wheels against tracks, like a heartbeat that didn't belong to anyone on board. It was supposed to be an ordinary night. I boarded the last train out of the city just after 11:30 p.m. The platform was nearly empty. A couple stood near the far end, arguing in hushed but urgent voices. An elderly man sat on a bench reading a newspaper that looked too large for his trembling hands. No one paid attention to me, and I preferred it that way. When the train arrived, I stepped inside and chose a seat near the middle of the carriage, by the window. I always sit by the window. It gives me something to look at when I don't want to look at people. The doors beeped shut. A recorded voice announced the next stop. Across from me sat a young man in a dark hoodie, earbuds in, staring at the floor. 2 rows ahead, a woman scrolled through her phone, her face glowing blue in the dim carriage. Everything felt normal, predictable, safe. 3 stops passed without anything unusual happening. Then, the lights flickered. It was subtle at first, just a brief dimming that made everyone glance up. The woman paused her scrolling. The elderly man lowered his newspaper slightly. The train didn't slow down. It didn't make any strange sounds, but something shifted in the air. The lights flickered again, and when they came back on, the young man across from me was gone. His earbuds were still there, neatly coiled, as if he had stepped out of existence and left the rest behind. No one reacted. The announcement crackled overhead. Instead of naming the next station, it repeated the same phrase 3 times. Please remain seated. We didn't stop at the next platform. We sped past it, and the station name wasn't one I recognized. I had checked my phone. No signal. No bars. Just silence. I tried to rationalize it. Underground tunnels, reroutes, technical malfunctions. There are logical explanations for everything. But logic doesn't explain why the elderly man slowly folded his newspaper and looked directly at me. "You saw it too," he said softly. My stomach tightened. Saw what? His eyes shifted to the empty seat across from me. "They always take one first." The lights flickered again. When they came back on, the arguing couple near the door was gone. No scream, no movement, just absence. The woman with the phone finally stopped. Her screen went black. She stared straight ahead. I stood up, heart pounding. What is happening? "Sit down," the elderly man said sharply. "If you draw attention to yourself, you'll be next." Next for what? The train lurched violently. The windows darkened as if we had entered a deeper tunnel. But outside, something moved alongside us. Shadows. Tall, distorted shapes, gliding along the tunnel walls, keeping pace with impossible speed. One tilted its head toward the window. It wasn't a reflection. It was looking in. "Who are they?" I whispered. "No one knows. But sometimes this train runs differently. It doesn't stop where it should. And sometimes it doesn't let everyone off." The woman with the phone finally spoke. "You're not supposed to talk about it." "People are disappearing," I said. She turned toward me. Her expression wasn't fear. It was resignation. They disappear because someone has to stay. The lights went out completely. In the darkness, I felt a presence directly behind me. Cold, close, watching. A whisper brushed against my ear. Choose. The lights snapped back on. The elderly man was gone. The train began to slow. Outside was a platform unlike any I had ever seen. No signs, no advertisements, no people. Just blank concrete walls stretching into shadow. The doors slid open. No announcement followed. "It only opens once," the woman said quietly, "and it only waits a moment." Shadows gathered near the doorway, taller than any human, edges blurred as if they weren't fully solid. "What do they want?" I asked. "Balance." The whisper filled the carriage again. "Choose." I looked at the empty seats, the hoodie, the folded newspaper, the silence they left behind. The train wouldn't move until someone stepped off. The woman's eyes filled with tears. "I have a daughter," she said. "She's waiting for me." My thoughts raced. My apartment, my unfinished plans, the people who might notice if I didn't come home. "Choose." The whisper grew louder. The woman took a trembling step toward the door, and without fully understanding why, I grabbed her wrist. "I'll go." I stepped onto the platform. The air was unnaturally still. The doors began to close the moment my feet touched the ground. She looked at me one last time, her lips forming the words, "I'm sorry." The train pulled away into darkness. The shadows surrounded me. They didn't attack. They didn't speak. They only watched. Then everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on a bench at my usual stop. Morning sunlight streamed through the station windows. My phone buzzed with missed calls. Only 10 minutes had passed. The young man in the hoodie stood near the platform edge, alive. The elderly man walked toward the exit. The arguing couple passed by, still mid-conversation. They were all there. All except one. The woman with the phone was gone. Sometimes, late at night when the lights flicker just a second too long, I feel that cold presence behind me again, and I hear the whisper, "Choose." I can't tell anyone what happened on that train, because I don't know if speaking about it will make it happen again, and I don't know if next time there will be anyone left to choose for me.